Hello YouTube, it's CN Maritime History here, back again with another video, and today I'm talking about the MS Estonia. Let's begin. The ship was originally ordered from Meyer Werft by a Norwegian shipping company led by Parley Augustin with intended traffic between Norway and Germany. At the last moment, the company withdrew their order, and the contract went to Rederi Ab Sally, one of the partners in the Viking Line Consortium, or SF Line. Another partner in Viking Line had also been interested in the ship, because originally she was not a S-Line ship. She was Viking Line, which you can see on the next slide. There she is. Originally the ship was conceived as a sister ship to Diana II, built in 1979 by the same shipyard for Rederi Ab Sally, the third partner in Viking Line. When Sally took over the construction contract, the ship was lengthened from the original length of approximately 449 feet to 509 feet, and the superstructure of the ship was largely redesigned. Meyer Werft had constructed a large number of ships for various Viking Line partner companies in the 1970s. The construction of the ship's bow consisted of an upwards opening visor and a car ramp that was placed inside the visor when it was closed. An identical bow construction had also been used in Diana II. So this would open, like it would cut off here, it would flip open. This is what actually caused it to sink. And then the ramp would come down and you could load cars in that way. But during a storm, this broke open and water poured in. So this is MS Estonia as the MS Viking Sally in this picture. On June 29, 1980, Viking Sally was delivered to Rederi Ab Sally, Finland, and was put into service on the route between Turku, Mariehamn, and Stockholm. During the summer of 1982 on the non-Tally Mariehamn-Kapellskär route. She was the largest ship to serve on that route at the time. As with many ships, she suffered some mishaps during her Viking Line service, being grounded in the Åland archipelago in May 1984 and suffering some propeller problems in April of the following year. In 1985, she was also rebuilt with a ducktail. In 1986, there was a murder on board. In 1987, another murder and attempted murder took place. Rederi Ab Sally had been experiencing financial difficulties for most of the 1980s. In late 1987, AFOA and Johnson Line, the owners of Viking Line's main rival Silja Line, bought Sally. As a result of this, SF Line and Rederi Ab Sally forced Sally to withdraw from Viking Line. Viking Sally was chartered to Rederi Ab Sally to continue on her current traffic for the next 3 years. When her charter ended in April 1990, Viking Sally had an unusual change of service. She was painted in Silja Line's covers, renamed Silja Star, and placed on the same route that she had applied for Viking Line, Turku, Mariehamn, Stockholm. The reason for this was that Silja's new ship for Helsinki-Stockholm service was built behind schedule, and one of the Turku-Stockholm ships, Wellamo, was transferred to that route until the new ship was complete in November 1990. Also in 1990, AFOA, Johnson Line, and Rederi Ab Sally merged into one company, F. John. The following spring, Silja Star began her service with Vasa Line, another company owned by F. John. Her name was changed to Vasa King, and she served on routes connecting Vasa, Finland to Umeå and Sundsvall in Sweden. It has been reported that the Vasa King was widely considered to be the best behaving ship in rough weather to have sailed from Vasa. S-Line service. In January 1993, at the same time when F. John decided to merge Vasa Line's operations in the Silja Line, Vasa King was sold to Nordstrom and Thulin for use on S-Line's Holland-Stockholm traffic under the name Estonia. The actual ownership of the ship was rather complex in order for Nordstrom and Thulin to get a loan to buy the ship. Although Nordstrom and Thulin was the company which bought the ship, her registered owner was S-Line Marine Co. Limited, Nicosia, Cyprus, which chartered the ship to E. Linni AS Tallinn Estonia, which is the daughter company of Nordstrom and Thulin in Esko, which in turn chartered the ship to S-Line AB. As a result, the ship was actually registered in both Cyprus and Estonia. As the largest Estonian-owned ship of the time, the Estonia symbolized the independence that Estonia regained after the collapse of the Soviet Union. The MS Estonia consisted of 11 decks, counted from the lowest, 0, to the highest, 10. Passenger facilities were located on decks 6, 5, 4, and 1, while the crew members occupied decks 8 and 7. Decks 2 and 3 were dedicated to cargo. As Viking Sally, Deck 9 was her bridge and sun deck, Deck 8 was crew cabins and sun deck, Deck 7 was crew cabins and facilities with a sun deck. Deck 6 was the restaurant deck with a buffet dining room, an a la carte restaurant, bar, and outside and inside cabins. On Deck 5, entrance and cafeteria deck. Tax-free shops, cafeteria, snack bar, I don't know what a discotheque is, but they had that. Air seats, children's playroom outside and inside cabins. Deck 4 is the conference deck. Conference rooms, nightclub, cinema inside and outside cabins. Deck 3 is the car platform. Deck 2 is the car deck, so that would be down here. Deck 1, inside cabins and engine room. And Deck 0, sauna, swimming pool, and the conference rooms. This is a computer simulation of the MS Estonia going down on the night of September the 28th, 1994. The Estonia disaster occurred on Wednesday, September the 28th, 1994, like I said, between about 00:55 and 01:50. That's the UTC plus 2 time, as the ship was crossing the Baltic Sea en route from Tallinn, Estonia to Stockholm, Sweden. Estonia departed slightly behind schedule at 19:15 hours on September 27th and had been expected in Stockholm the next morning at about 9 o'clock. She was carrying 989 people, 803 passengers, 186 crew. Most of the passengers were Swedish, but some of them were of Estonian origin, while most of the crew members were Estonian. The ship was fully loaded and was listing slightly to starboard, to the right, looking from the ship in the direction of its travel. That's where starboard is. So if you're on the bridge looking to your right, it's the starboard side. However, if the ship is coming at you, that would be on your left. And because of a core hard distribution, it was listing slightly. Okay, sorry, I missed something I was going to read. According to the final disaster report, the weather was rough, with a wind of 15 to 20 meters per second. A force 7 to 8 on the Beaufort scale, and a significant wave height of 4 to 6 meters, or 13 to 20 feet, compared with the highest measured significant wave height in the Baltic Sea, 25 feet 3 inches. Isa McCullough, the captain of Soldier Europa, who was appointed on scene commander for the subsequent rescue effort, described the weather as normally bad, or like a typical autumn storm in the Baltic Sea. According to modeled satellite data, gusts were in the excess of 24 to 28 meters per second at 1 o'clock that night over the Baltic Sea, although the ship had not yet reached the areas of the heaviest gusts before its sinking. There was some rain and temperatures, around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. All scheduled passenger ferries were at sea, something not unusual for this weather in the Baltic Sea. The official report says that while the exact speed at the time of the accident is not known, Estonia had very regular voyage times, averaging 30 to 31 kilometers an hour. The chief mate of the Viking Line cruise ferry Mariella tracked Estonia's speed by radar at approximately 26.2 kilometers an hour, or 14.2 knots. As you can see here, it does say she is making 14 knots. Before the first signs of distress, while the Soldier Europa officers estimated her speed at 14 to 15 nautical knots. The first sign of trouble aboard Estonia was when a metallic bang was heard, presumably caused by a heavy wave hitting the bow doors around 1 o'clock. Here's the problem. You see here on the wreck, here is the bridge. Here is the bow. There is a huge hole here in the bow when the visor breaks off. But because of where the bridge is, being up here and there being an obstruction here, it can't see it. It's out of its vision. And when this bang happened, the ship was on the outskirts of the Turku archipelago, but an inspection, limited to checking the indicator lights for the ramp advisor, showed no problems. Over the next 10 minutes, similar noises were reported by passengers and other crew. About 1:15, advisors believed to have separated and torn open the loading ramp behind it. The ship immediately took on a heavy starboard lift, initially around 15 degrees. As you can see, this is what happens here. But by 1:30, the ship had rolled 60 degrees over, and by 1:50, the ship was 90 degrees as water flooded into the vehicle deck. Estonia was turned to port and slowed before her 4 engines cut out completely. About 1:20, a quiet female voice called "Hare, hare, Leavel on Hari," which is Estonian for "alarm, alarm, there is alarm on the ship," over the public address system, which was followed immediately by an internal alarm for the crew, then 1 minute later by the general emergency signal. The vessel's rapid list and flooding prevented many people in the cabins from ascending to the boat deck, as water not only flooded the vessel via the car deck, but also through windows and cabins, as well as the massive windows along Deck 6. The windows gave way to the powerful waves as the ship listed, and the sea reached the upper decks. Survivors reported the water flowed down from ceiling panels, stairwells, along corridors from decks that were not yet underwater. This contributed to her rapid sinking. A mayday was communicated at 1:22, but did not follow international formats. Eventually, Estonia disappeared around 1:50 and sank at 59 degrees 23 degrees north, 21 degrees 41 degrees east in international waters, about 22 miles from Ujo Island, Finland, from a depth of 245 to 280 feet of water. So that is the story of the MS Estonia and her horrific sinking. But I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing about the Estonia. Please like and subscribe and comment down below for video ideas. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.